We got town hall meetings all across the fruited plain, and I'm saying two issues ought to be front and center for people that go to these town hall meetings. And Rob, if we can shift gears here, that would be great. But I want to play a soundbite from Representative Aaron Schock. This is clip 7, Rob, on the subject. He's a Republican from the state of Illinois. And these are the two issues that are going to have to be dealt with. You've got this incredible push toward amnesty, the Marco Rubio permanent Democratic majority amnesty plan. Got a Gallup poll indicating that the vast majority of Hispanics are Democrats, period. Not a thing we're going to be able to do about it. We had that sound by John McCain admitting that if we get amnesty, we're not going to pick up a single Hispanic vote. So it's just amazing to me. It's like lemmings off a cliff to watch these Republicans out there hacking and flacking for amnesty, which is suicidal for the Republican Party. You know, we got this Luis Gutierrez. He is a Democrat from Illinois. He says he's got 40 to 50 Republican votes for amnesty right now. If we had to round up 40 to 50 votes for amnesty in the House, he says we could do it. So, again, if we had the Hastert rule in place where no bill would come to the floor of the House of Representatives that did not have majority support of the House caucus, even Gutierrez is admitting we don't have a majority of Republicans. I can only get 40 to 50. But if you add that to the Democrats in the House, that's enough to pass amnesty. So if John Boehner wilts, if he folds, if he's willing to bring amnesty legislation to the floor over the will of his own caucus against the majority of Republicans in the House, we could get amnesty out of the House of Representatives. At least Luis Gutierrez saying that's the case. And here's that Gallup poll. Hispanics in the United States identify with or lean toward the Democratic Party over the Republican Party by a 2-to-1 margin, regardless of whether they were U.S. born. Now realize a lot of these Hispanics come from countries where Roman Catholicism is the dominant religion, and in Catholic thinking, the government is designed to be an agent of charity. So they are used to thinking in socialist terms, that a socialist form of government is good. It's what they expect. That's why I've said it's in their DNA. It's in their soul. It's the way that they think about the role of government, that it ought to be involved in welfare. So those that are born in the U.S. with both parents born in the U.S., so these would be at least second-generation Hispanics, only 30% lean Republican, 64% are Democratic or lean Democratic. Of those that were born outside the U.S., only 25% are Republican or lean Republicans, 57% are Democrat or lean Democrat. So in other words, it's 2-to-1. So the reality is every Hispanic immigrant that comes into the United States, 67% of them are going to wind up voting for the Democratic Party. Why the Republican Party, purely out of self-interest, would support this is beyond me. But here's Aaron Schock. He's supposed to be a conservative. Clip 7, here's what he says about amnesty. And you hear pathway to citizenship. Don't forget, Marco Rubio told us in 2010, you hear the term pathway to citizenship. That is a code word for amnesty. Here's Aaron Schock.
I think there should be a pathway to citizenship for anybody who wants to come to America.
But what about the ones that are here now?
Yeah, so here's what I think ought to happen. I think they ought to self-identify. I think they should pay back taxes. And I think they should be on a legal probationary program. So if you break a law, if you do something wrong, you're thrown out. But I don't think there should be anything stopping somebody who self-identifies, pays their back taxes, and continues to pay taxes in our country to get in the back of the line with everybody else who wants to become an American citizen. What I don't support is giving any kind of preferential treatment to people who are here illegally above those people who are outside our borders currently that are waiting in line.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much gibberish in this. It's just almost impossible to unpack. You know, because he says it twice. If you break a law, if you do something wrong, you're thrown out. Well, I hate to break it to you, Representative Schock, but they are breaking a law by being here. They are doing something wrong by being here. And here you've just said it twice. If they break a law, they ought to be deported. And yet you're here saying they ought to be able to stay and they ought to be able to get preferential treatment. And he talks about folks getting in the back of the line with everyone else who wants to become an American citizen. Well, if they're going to get in the back of the line, they've got to go back to their country of origin. We know that there are over 4 million people that are overseas that live outside the United States. They want to come. They want to immigrate, but they're playing by the rules. They're filling out the paperwork. They're paying the fees. They're waiting their turn. If we don't want these illegal aliens that are already here, if we want them to go to the back of the line, then by definition, they've got to leave this country because that's where the line is. That's where the line is of people who are waiting to get into this country. If we're going to send them to the back of the line like everybody says we got to do, that means we've got to send them to their homeland, to their country of origin, because that's where the line is. I mean, where is the line of people that are waiting to come into this country legally? By definition, it's outside the United States. So this is just gobbledygook that these people are spinning. What I don't support is giving any kind of preferential treatment to people who are here illegally. Well, you're doing that by letting them stay. You got 4 million people that live outside the United States. They would love to be here. They would love to be given permission to stay. They can't. Why? Because they're playing by the rules. So by definition, if you let these people stay inside the United States, you are in fact giving them preferential treatment. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a Republican. This is a conservative Republican that's talking like this. So it gives us a clear picture of what we're up against this month in these town hall meetings. And I'm telling you, what these conservatives need to hear, what these Republicans need to hear from us is no to amnesty. N-O. What part of no to amnesty do you not understand? Because you've got Republicans that just don't get it. It's a suicide mission. So I don't know. I mean, these people are out there as Republicans leading not only against the will of the American people, but governing against the will of their own political party. Focal Point in the AFR Talk, back in 2.